It didn't happen during a fight. It didn't happen when she packed a bag. It didn't happen when she stopped loving you. It happened quietly. So quietly that you were still there while she was already gone. That's the part most people never talk about. Because emotional leaving doesn't look dramatic. There's no slammed door, no final argument, no last speech. It looks like normal life until one day you realize you're talking to someone who's no longer with you. And by the time you notice, the moment has already passed. Let me tell you how it really happens. At first, everything felt normal. You still texted, still talked, still shared a bed. From the outside, nothing had changed. If someone asked you how things were going, you would have said, "We're good, just busy." That's what most people say right before the emotional distance becomes permanent. Because emotional leaving doesn't begin with distance. It begins with adjustment. She started adjusting to life without needing you emotionally, and you didn't notice because you were still physically present. The first sign wasn't silence. It was effort without expectation. She still asked how your day was, but she stopped caring if you answered deeply. She still listened, but she stopped responding emotionally. She still showed up, but she stopped leaning in. At the time, you thought she's just tired, or she's stressed, or this is what long-term relationships look like. You told yourself love matures. You told yourself passion fades. You told yourself this was normal. What you didn't realize was that she had stopped bringing things to you. Not problems, not fears, not dreams. She started handling things alone, and that's where it begins. See, when a woman is emotionally connected, she shares her inner world, even the messy parts. But the moment she feels unheard, unchosen, or emotionally unsafe, she slowly closes that door. Not out of anger, out of self-protection. She starts thinking, it's easier to deal with this on my own. And when she reaches that point, she doesn't announce it. She adapts. You might remember moments where she tried to talk and you brushed it off. She said things like, "I feel like we don't really talk anymore. I don't feel close to you lately. I feel alone even when we're together." At the time, you thought she was overthinking. You thought she was being emotional. You thought it would pass. So you reassured her with words, but not with presence. And slowly, she stopped bringing it up, not because it was fixed, but because she stopped expecting you to understand. That was the moment she emotionally left. Here's the part that hurts the most. When she emotionally leaves, she doesn't become cold right away. She becomes calm. She stops arguing, stops pushing, stops needing reassurance. And you think, finally, peace. But what you're actually seeing is detachment. Because anger means she still cares. Silence means she's already grieving the relationship while still inside it. She started responding instead of reacting. You said something careless, she didn't get upset. You forgot something important, she shrugged it off. You pulled away, she didn't chase. And instead of worrying, you felt relieved. No drama, no conflict, no pressure. You didn't realize that you were watching someone emotionally unplug. One day you noticed she laughed less around you. Not dramatically, just less. Her smile became polite. Her affection became scheduled. Her presence became lighter, as if she was already halfway somewhere else. She stopped asking for your opinion, stopped sharing random thoughts, stopped dreaming out loud with you. Those weren't small things. Those were signs she had stopped seeing you as her emotional home. And here's what makes this moment so dangerous. She didn't leave because she stopped loving you. She left because she stopped feeling chosen. Feeling loved isn't about grand gestures. It's about being emotionally met, being listened to without defensiveness, being prioritized without being begged, being understood without having to explain yourself 10 times. When those needs go unmet long enough, love doesn't explode, it evaporates. She started spending more time alone or with friends. You thought she was finding herself. You thought it was healthy independence. But really, she was rebuilding emotional safety outside of you. Not cheating, not betraying, just detaching. Because when someone feels lonely in a relationship, the mind starts searching for places where it doesn't feel invisible. You might remember the exact moment, though you didn't recognize it then. She looked at you differently, not angry, not sad, just distant, as if she was already mourning something you didn't know was ending. That look wasn't disappointment, it was acceptance. acceptance that things weren't going to change. And the hardest truth? By the time she stopped explaining herself, by the time she stopped asking for effort, by the time she stopped reacting, she had already decided. Not consciously, emotionally. She was preparing herself to be okay without you. That's why when the breakup finally happened, you felt blindsided. You said, "This came out of nowhere." She said, "I've been feeling this way for a long time." You thought the breakup was the ending. For her, it was the last chapter after months of emotional closure. She didn't leave suddenly. She left slowly while standing right next to you. And here's the part no one prepares you for. After she emotionally leaves, you suddenly become aware. You notice her absence. You feel the distance. You want to talk. You want to fix things. But now, the roles have reversed. She's calm. You're anxious. She's detached. You're reaching. Because emotional distance only becomes obvious when the other person stops carrying the connection for both of you. You replay conversations in your head. If only I had listened more. If only I had taken her seriously. If only I had shown up emotionally instead of assuming she'd stay. But regret comes after awareness, and awareness comes too late for most people. This isn't about blame. It's about understanding the moment. The moment she stopped feeling safe to open up. The moment she stopped believing her feelings mattered. The moment she chose peace over connection. That was the moment she emotionally left. And if you're listening to this and thinking, "This sounds familiar," it's not too late to learn from it. Because emotional presence isn't about perfection. It's about attention. Being there when things are uncomfortable. Listening without fixing. Showing up without being asked. Most relationships don't end because of lack of love. They end because one person got tired of feeling alone inside the relationship. So if there's one thing to take from this, let it be this. Don't wait for silence to realize something is wrong. Pay attention when someone starts withdrawing emotionally while still staying physically. That's not peace, that's goodbye, happening quietly. And once that moment passes, you don't get a rewind, only a lesson.